Right now at noon, a nation honors a former President George H.W. Bush as his body makes its way from Texas to D.C. And changes are coming for the Packers as the search for a new head coach continues. And NFL player Kareem Hunt is cut by the Chiefs after a video shows him attacking a teen. How the league is responding.
This is News 3 at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 on this Monday. Hope you all had a nice weekend. We'll get to those stories in a bit. But first, Chris Reese is here, meteorologist Chris Reese, with our first alert forecast. Kind of wintry day out there.
It is a wintry day. Started out this morning with some snow and some added snow in addition to yesterday that kind of created a little glaze of snow on the roads this morning. That has since moved on out of town. We were watching that work its way to the south, where initially it was rather impressive, but that dry air sometimes gets in control and it just eats things up. And so we have watched the snow on the radar fall apart as we have gone through most of the day. So we are still left with the cloud cover. Temperatures are cold as well. They've actually been gradually dropping throughout the day. This morning when you woke up, those temperatures were around 31 to 32. Right now we're at 28 degrees. We may try to warm just a little bit, but the problem is we have winds coming out of the north that's bringing in those cooler temperatures. 20s just about all across the board. There are a few of you who are still in the low 30s right now. Those winds coming out of the north at 12 miles per hour here in Madison, which means I get to introduce my buddy, the wind chill again. They're back. 18 is what it feels like if you are stepping outside or slipping and sliding. We'll watch those winds relax as we go into the afternoon, though. Temperatures will also continue to relax in just how fast they do begin to drop. But as we go hour by hour, we may try to make it into the lower 30s, but for the most part, I think we're going to be stuck in the 20s and mostly cloudy through the afternoon.
It is December.
It is certainly December. It's going to feel like December as well, but I think we will have a warm-up by about mid-month, which is good news.
Something to look forward to.
Yes, it is.
All right, Chris, we'll see you in a few minutes.
All right.
Topping the news today, the casket of former President George H.W. Bush is on its way to D.C. He received military honors in Houston. His son, President George W. Bush, and former First Lady Laura Bush led the Bush family onto the plane, which is being called Special Air Mission 41 for this trip. Bush will lie in state at the U.S. Capitol until Wednesday. Then a motorcade will transport the casket through Washington to the National Cathedral for a state funeral. In an interview with 60 Minutes, former President George W. Bush says his father's legacy will grow with time.
I think he's going to go down as the greatest one-term president ever, because of his foreign policy, deftly handling the end of the Cold War, for example, reunification of Germany.
After the services in D.C., Bush's body will be flown back to Texas for a public viewing and a private funeral. He will be buried next to his wife, Barbara, who died earlier this year, and their daughter, Robin, who died of leukemia when she was just 3 years old. And this picture is moving a lot of people around the country. It shows Bush's service dog, Sully, sitting by his flag-draped casket at a funeral home in Houston. The picture was tweeted by the Bush family spokesperson. Sully came to the family in June from the nonprofit organization America's Vet Dogs. Sully will be placed with a new veteran family at the former president's request. The State Elections Commission says the GOP's plan to move Wisconsin's 2020 primary from April to March would cost at least $7 million. The move is part of a sweeping package of lame duck legislation. Republicans hope to take the plans up tomorrow. Moving the primary would create 3 elections in 3 months: the state primary in February, the presidential primary in March, and the state general election in April. A commission memo estimates a third election would cost more than $6 million, and this does not include all local training or software update costs. Madison police are investigating multiple causes of shots fired overnight near McPike Park. Police responded to the 300 block of South Brewerly Street just after midnight, where they found evidence of the shots being fired in the street. Nobody was hurt, but an empty home in the 900 block of Williamson Street was hit by a stray bullet. A 29-year-old Madison man who was driving through the area at the time also called police, saying someone shot at his car. Police found at least 1 bullet hole in the car. The man was not hurt. Police are continuing to investigate. A woman told police 2 people attempted to steal her $85,000 vehicle while she was in a parking lot of a West Madison business. Madison police said the 47-year-old Verona woman was at the Walgreens in the parking lot on Mineral Point Road Saturday night when she was approached by 2 people who attempted to take her Land Rover. According to the report, one of the 2 would-be carjackers began yelling and got into a physical fight with the woman. She told police the 2 ran away toward Tree Lane. The woman was unable to describe the 2 attempted thieves other than to say that one was a man and the other a woman. Well, the Green Bay Packers are continuing to search for a new head coach. Former Packers head coach Mike McCarthy was fired after Green Bay's loss to the Arizona Cardinals after being a 14-point favorite yesterday. Green Bay currently has a 4-7-1 record, and their playoff hopes are dwindling. McCarthy spent 13 seasons with the organization, making the playoffs 9 years, plus a Super Bowl championship win in 2011. Joe Philbin has been named the interim head coach while the organization searches for a permanent replacement. And the NFL faces tough questions over star running back Kareem Hunt, who allegedly assaulted a woman in February but continued to play. The Kansas City Chiefs released Hunt Friday after TMZ posted surveillance video showing Hunt shoving and kicking a woman. Police reports indicate that she and a friend were asked to leave Hunt's apartment but stayed in the hall, yelling and beating at his door. The NFL opened an investigation in February but have reportedly not questioned the teen nor Hunt. The NFL also did not secure a copy of the video before TMZ released it.
How is it that the NFL couldn't get their hands on this second tape, but a website called TMZ could?
Well, I don't know how TMZ or any other website gets their information, and we don't seek to get that information from sources that are not credible.
The NFL is also investigating Hunt for allegedly punching a man in June. He is now on the exempts list, meaning that he cannot practice nor play in games, even if a new team claims him. Hunt has issued an apology about the incident. Under the league's personal conduct policy, Hunt faces a 6-game suspension for assaulting the woman. One child is dead, more than 45 other people hurt following a bus crash. Most of the injured are children. The bus was carrying a youth football team back to Memphis, but crashed in Arkansas. The bus flipped over in the middle of the night. The bus driver said she lost control of the bus, but an exact cause of the crash is still being investigated. And cleanup is underway in central Illinois after several tornadoes touched down in the area. The National Weather Service says there are a reported 22 tornadoes that touched down on Saturday. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Today, we're making a Hanukkah treat that's both symbolic and tasty. Any ideas to what it could be? Stick around. We've got it coming up next. For those of you celebrating the Festival of Lights this week, happy Hanukkah. To symbolize Hanukkah, which is when the eternal light miraculously burned for 8 days with only 1 day's worth of oil, we're whipping up a dish that's cooked in oil, which goes hand in hand with the holiday. It's potato pancakes, and watch how easy they are. We start by combining a bag of refrigerated shredded potatoes, along with a finely chopped onion and an egg. We give that a mix and add some flour, salt and pepper. After forming these into patties, we saute them in a good amount of oil. Once the bottoms are golden, we carefully turn them over and cook them until both sides are crispy. Then we'll drain them on some paper towels, and that's it. If you want, you can freeze them and refrigerate them at this point and simply reheat them whenever you want. Not only are these crispy and tasty, but thanks to our supermarket shortcut, the pre-shredded potatoes, they're super easy. Serve them with some sour cream or applesauce, and you've got a super side dish, or they can be a meal all by themselves. To get the recipe for our simple shredded potato pancakes, just visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a symbolic way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. Now is the time to start thinking your plant and garden questions. Linda Barch from the Bruce Company will be taking your calls coming up. Plus, flurries are possible today. Our first alert forecast coming up next at noon. Our Call for Action phone bank is open right now, ready to take on your consumer issues. You can call a hotline. Volunteers will help you with any consumer complaints. The number 608-270-2833. The service is open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 11 and 1. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrials up 249 points. The NASDAQ up over 90. Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee is out of the radio barn today, so here are your farm numbers. And Pam will be back with us again tomorrow. Chris Reese is standing by with our December forecast. Chris?
That's right. We have finally rounded out November and began to enter in the month of December. But first, I want to go and take a look back at how November did end up for us. Typically, we see those temperatures start out in the 40s and then end in the 30s, and that's pretty much what we saw, but those temperatures a little bit below average for this time of the year. We got 3.4 inches of snow for the month. That's slightly below average. But as we recap the fall as a whole, September was warmer than average, October cooler, November substantially cooler. That made the overall fall about 1.5 degrees cooler than normal. Then it comes to the precipitation. As far as rainfall, September and October certainly wetter than average by a long shot. November drier than average, though, even a little bit below average on the snowfall. But when you factor in September and October, fall as a whole was certainly more wet than dry. Here's weather track right now, though. We are drying things out after that snow began to leave the picture yesterday. Still some cloud cover over the area, and we saw a lot of snowflakes flying with this system, but even those have fallen apart as we have gone through time. The clouds, however, sticking around. You can see those outside right now. Temperatures are right now at 28 degrees. We're keeping those winds out of the north at 12 miles per hour as well. But temperatures for all of us are staying into the 20s as we go through the afternoon. There's a few of us with those temperatures still in the 30s. Expect those to drop as we go through time as well, as temperatures continue to drop behind that cold front that came through yesterday. Now, given the fact that yesterday afternoon was already chilly, this is still pretty chilly air, about 7 degrees colder than we were just 24 hours ago. And those winds still pretty breezy coming out of the north at 12 miles per hour. That's helping to create a wind chill this afternoon, feeling like 18 for us here in Madison. A few of us still feeling like those temperatures are in the teens, feeling like some of those temperatures are in the lower 20s as well. But as we go farther into the afternoon, I do think we will begin to see those temperatures, or those winds rather, relax a little bit, which is fantastic news. Temperatures will be coming down as well. By the afternoon and evening, we'll begin to see those temperatures still in the 20s, but eventually the lower 20s overnight tonight, right around 22 degrees by 7:30. And then tomorrow, the clouds come back into the picture after a brief clearing moment, and then I think we'll be stuck in the 20s again going through tomorrow. That's as high pressure takes over out of Canada. That's going to keep the cold regime going for a couple of days, and then behind that, we'll pay attention to a reinforcing shot of colder air that's going to be working its way down from Canada. That means temperatures will be in the 20s for about the next 7 days or so, and then we begin to get a rebound. And I'm feeling a little hopeful that by the middle and end of the month, we might actually see a little bit of a warm up with temperatures above average, at least briefly. But as we go through the next 7 to 10 days, do expect those temperatures to be chilly. Lots of 20s as we go through the week, but we will see more sunshine, especially by the time we get you towards the weekend. So that is good news. Warming up a little bit by Tuesday and Wednesday next week. That's where temperatures will return into the lower 30s, which will actually be above average for once. It's been a while since we've said that one, Mark.
But a nice quiet period the way it looks. So
Absolutely.
That's good. All right. Thank you, Chris. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. Now's the time to call in with your plant and garden questions. Linda Barch from the Bruce Company is sitting right here. The number is 270-9933. We'll get to the... Linda Barsh from the Bruce Company is here taking your calls at 270-9933. Welcome to you. Well, you just brighten up the whole studio here.
I just found a whole slew of pink things, or pink colors that looked really pretty this morning. So a poinsettia that I've never seen before.
It's a beautiful color.
It's a really soft pink, and combined with the cyclamen, I thought it just looked very nice.
Little airplanes down there?
Yes, and this is a phalaenopsis. A lot of people are calling about orchids. This is probably what they're growing, because phalaenopsis is one that is, readily available.
Right, in the grocery stores.
Grocery stores, and the Bruce Company.
And the Bruce Company, Bart. It's a pretty one.
Yes.
All right, let's get to the calls, and we'll start with Chuck in Deerfield. Hi, Chuck.
Hi. Big fan, Linda. Thank you very much for taking my call.
Sure.
I inherited my mother's geranium, which she got from her mother. It's over 80 years old, and I've been keeping it alive, and I don't want it to go dormant. It's about 4 feet across. It's massive, and it's beautiful, and I've got a beautiful window for it, the southern exposure. I'm just worried that I need to repot it or do something to it. I water it about once a week and just pick the flowers out, or pick the dead leaves off it. And it's been doing fine. I'm just worried that should I repot it? Should I do anything to it? Is there anything I should look for?
Well, if it looks healthy and you're just getting some old leaves and it's flowering inside and you have a good south winter, that's the best combination. I would not repot it at this time of the year. When you do decide to repot it, if it's in a pot, say about 6 inches, go to about an 8-inch pot. Don't increase the size a lot. Do it in a moderated manner, and do it closer to spring when we have more daylight.
Sentimental plant.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it really
That's
is.
amazing.
Congratulations. All right, let's go to Dar in Sun Prairie. Hi, Dar.
Hi.
Hi, which question? Go ahead.
Thank you, Linda, for taking my call.
Sure.
I received a poinsettia a year ago, November, and it is just blooming with, not blooming, but green leaves. Will that turn red?
Sometimes they do. I have a woman at the office that she has them that they turn red, but typically in a greenhouse there's a timing thing done with a certain number of hours of darkness and light to get them to develop the colored panicles.
I put red food coloring in the water.
That's not going to help, unfortunately.
All right, let's go to Barbara now in Lodi. Hi, Barbara.
Hello.
Hi, which question?
Hi. I have a bird of paradise plant that I got in the summer at the end of the season, and it's blooming beautiful. What do I do after the blooms die?
Wow, that's wonderful. I have a bird of paradise I've had for 5 years, and I can't get it to flower. So if yours is flowering, just enjoy the flowers, and then, of course, deadhead them when they are past. And it's interesting, I wonder whether they will open without you doing any assistance, because if you cut them, you actually have to break them open.
All right, we'll go to Cheryl now in Madison. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi.
Hi.
Which question?
I have a question about a poinsettia plant.
Okay.
Some people tell me it's not. Some people tell me it is poisonous to cats.
Okay, what I understand is that if a cat would eat enough of that plant, it could have a problem, but it doesn't taste good, and most likely they're going to throw it up before they would actually eat enough that there would be a problem. But just keep it elevated so your plant doesn't get at it.
Yeah, any plant matter, too much of it's going to upsetting. I don't think they're poisonous, though.
I guess that there is a certain concentration, especially the berries.
Okay. All right, we're out of time. If you're on the line, stay there. Linda will talk to you off the air. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Sounds great.
All right, and Chris is here now with a final check of the forecast.
That's right. Still going to be a very cold afternoon. Temperatures are going to be falling through the 20s pretty much all day long. The winds will begin to relax into the afternoon and evening, though, so it won't feel as bad when it comes to the wind chill later on. Clouds through Tuesday. Can't rule out some flurries for Tuesday either, but as we go through Wednesday and Thursday, I do think we will have a better chance at seeing some sunshine, especially by the weekend. Even though temperatures are cold, that sunshine's really going to help things feel better. And then we're warming up as we get you towards Tuesday and Wednesday next week.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at 5 o'clock. Have a great afternoon.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.